Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marcy. Thank you for clicking on that thumbnail. Always showing up, sharing out some love. We're going to be talking about some tobacco fragrances today. If this is your first time watching a tobacco review, I have a feminine tobacco, masculine tobacco, and affordable tobacco and expensive tobacco. No designer. All of these fragrances are Middle Eastern and niche. And if you want to learn about the note of tobacco in fragrances, some of them are mixed with honey because we all know that honey and tobacco, they just go together. Please continue to like, comment, follow, subscribe, turn on those notification bells, all that good stuff. And follow me over on Instagram, you guys. We just have a lot of fun over there. Reels, you know, all that good stuff. So I have a lot of lovely tobacco scents that we're going to be discussing today. Now, one of these fragrances was gifted. So we're going to start with a gifted one first. And then, you know, I've worn every single one of these fragrances today, so I can give you a really good and thorough review on each one. So the very first one that was gifted to me by Houbigant Paris, and they also gifted me another fragrance, and we'll talk about that later. This is a new fragrance, a new launch, and this is called Tobac Nomad. Like I said, this is my first fragrance from Houbigant, the brand, which they've been around for a long time. So, you know, the brand contacted me and asked me if I wanted to try their fragrance that comes in this really nice packaging. Love the design. I love their bottles as well. And they all have, they have different bottles for the feminine line, for the masculine line, the unisex line. Those are pretty linear across the board. But the feminine versus the masculine line, the bottles are a bit different. So it comes encased here. And I was a little nervous, y'all, to tell you the truth, when I heard of Houbigant, because I know they have some really, you know, French-smelling, strong fragrances. So I was a little nervous, but then when I smelled the scent, I was thoroughly surprised. So in this fragrance, Tobac Nomad, you have your bergamot rose, tobacco leaf, saffron, tonka bean, leather. So you have leather and tobacco and vanilla. So I am wearing this actually as my scent of the day. But let me go ahead and spray it again, you know, because I have the dry down on right now just to refresh my memory. So I'll go ahead and spray it. So in the opening of this fragrance, it was very light initially when I sprayed it. But in the opening, I was like, oh, okay, this is the lightest tobacco that I have in my collection, my tobacco fragrances amongst them. So I got the bergamot, I got the rose, you know, I got a little bit of that smokiness from tobacco, but it wasn't heavy. It smells like there's a honey, vanilla in here. I do get that saffron, which makes it really, really fresh, and I absolutely love it. It almost gives it a little bit of a fruity nuance, almost like an apple, you know, an apple scent, maybe a warm, spicy apple. You know, a warm, spicy apple peel, not necessarily the sweetness of the apple, but it smells it doesn't list any apple, but it does list the bergamot, rose, and saffron, and the tobacco and vanilla. So that's what I get in the opening. As this fragrance dries, now it lists a note of leather. It doesn't become too leathery, but you know that leather, that the saffron, sometimes you get saffron in a fragrance and it gives you like the nuance of leather because of the blend, or maybe because it's a little bit heavy on the saffron. You kind of get that. So even though there's leather in the base, it doesn't dry down to a heavy leather scent. It still gives me just a moderate saffron scent, but still warm, spicy, with that beautiful fresh note of like a wet tobacco leaf, y'all. It's absolutely beautiful, unisex. I love it. This is called Tobac Nomad. Get your nose on this fragrance. But yeah, it gives me a little bit of a fruity nuance, but I think it's that rose, which is not super prominent, but you do get like a fresh, dewy rose with the bergamot, tobacco, saffron, vanilla. It dries down a little warm, spicy, definitely unisex. You guys, this is a good one. I will keep this in my collection. You can wear it alone. It almost gives you completely unisex. I'm not going to say it's feminine leaning because it's totally unisex. In the opening, you may think it would be feminine leaning because it's so airy and fresh and slightly rosy. But then as it dries down, then it gets a little warm, spicy, you know, almost like a I would say a triumph of BACCUS meets Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille in the end, okay? But a little airy and fresh from the saffron. But yeah, I absolutely love Tobac Nomad. As it dries down, it becomes completely unisex, you guys. Anyway, get your nose on this fragrance. So happy to have this in my collection. So thank you to the people over at Houbigant, okay? So y'all, let's get this party started, okay? All right, so the next one we're going to talk about some cheapies first. So I have Zara, and this is Rich Warm Addictive. This was about $25, you all. On the Zara website. Initially, this was in high demand, but then it came back out. This just gives you a fresh, vanillic, slightly aromatic tobacco fragrance, you know? It's very warm, a little warm, spicy. I get like a mandarin or something in there. You know, almost like a citrus in here. I love Rich Warm Addictive. It has decent performance, being that it only costs like $25, $30, you know? A little powdery, you know, sweetened. But y'all, this is completely unisex. It smells good. I would love smelling this on anybody. But yeah, a little aromatic in the opening, but then that dries down to a very warm, cozy, kind of like a fuzzy, sweet tobacco vanillic scent. Get your nose on this. Zara's Tobacco Collection, Rich Warm Addictive. This is so much easier to find. I remember I was on eBay, but I didn't want to buy any perfumes from eBay at the time because I didn't know if it would be fake, break me out, any of that. But then they came back out with a collection plus more, so I was super excited. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is the Merchant of Venice, and this is Arabesque. Y'all, Arabesque is one of my favorites. I would say fall tobacco scents. In here, you get some warm, spicy cinnamon. You get that rich, resinous, almost a stewy plum in this fragrance, and it's so, so good. I will always have Arabesque in my collection. So in this fragrance, in Arabesque, you get that tobacco. It does say that there's ginger in here. I'm going to go ahead and spray it. I'm going to wear this week because it's been a while. You get some tonka bean in here. Yeah, so you get that ginger that freshens it up and makes it a little fruity. You get apple in here as well. It seems like most of these fragrances, you know, with that tobacco scent, or you're getting some fruitiness from this, but you get that spiciness, you get some cloves, tobacco, cinnamon, you get that ginger, you get some freshness upon initial spray. But y'all, and that plum, well, that fruitiness is the plum, you guys, I guess, okay? But it's almost like a stewed, sweetened plum, yet fresh, or a plum jam, but it's fresh with some zesty citruses. But Arabesque is absolutely stunning. If you are a fragrance collector, you need this in your collection. But I absolutely love it. It is rich, it is decadent, and it is a must, you guys. Arabesque by the Merchant of Venice. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is Magenta Tanzanite. This is also another one. Let's talk about two at the same time because, yes, I've said it before, and I think I put it in my coffee fragrance review, but Meway Demi and Magenta Tanzanite smell like one another. You get your cardamom, your ginger, your coffee, your tobacco in here. Absolutely beautiful. You get your vanilla in here. Magenta Tanzanite. It's just a little creamy, more gourmand leaning. Meway Demi, you get all those beautiful notes with that fresh, airy note of tobacco. But this one gives you that pimento to make it a little more vanillic, airy, and warm, spicy. But like I said, this one, it all depends on what you like. You want a gourmand or you want something a little more fresh and airy. But the cardamom in these two, the pimento in here, the warm spiciness from the black pepper, I'm sorry, not the black pepper, the cardamom in both of these fragrances, they're absolutely elegant. It's literally an elegant gourmand, a very wearable gourmand, and you can wear these, you can actually wear these 365 days a year, but I would say maybe the gourmandish leaning one more in the fall and the winter. Magenta Tanzanite, beautiful tobacco scents. Get your nose on it, and this is Meway Demi by Fragrance Du Bois. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is, let's talk about my favorite fragrance house. And this is the House of Xerjoff, and this is Bouquet Ideale. Now, Bouquet Ideale has tobacco blossom in there. Tobacco blossom is a little earthy. It all pretty much smells the same, but it's a little earthy, and it smells like a very damp and wet tobacco leaf. But tobacco leaf smells like tobacco too. So, but in here you have tobacco blossom. This one you get a little smokiness, but you don't get a prominent tobacco scent in Bouquet Ideale, even though it's in there. So that smokiness is coming from that tobacco blossom, which makes it fresh, airy, warm, spicy. This also gives a slight berry nuance as well, a slight fruity nuance, a deep berry, like a red berryish nuance, almost like the Mula Mula Rouge. That's that berry nuance that it's giving. Maybe like a dried strawberry or something like that. You guys, I'm still trying to figure out what berry it is that's in this fragrance. But anyway, I love it. Yeah, it's definitely giving warm, spicy vibes. You know, it's giving that smokiness from that tobacco. Super feminine, but anybody can wear it. But it's sweet, and I put a pretty good dent in this fragrance. I think I've only worn it once this year and multiple times the year prior, but definitely pulling it out. 2023, you guys. Get your nose on this fragrance. Love the stunning red bottle too, you guys. It's gorgeous. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is one of, like, between this one and Arabesque, y'all, this one is amazing. I have a house review coming on this fragrance house. I still can't pronounce it, is Les Eaux Primordiales. Les Eaux Primordiales. Okay, so anyway, this is Ombre Superfluid. I smell these over Inherent, and I fell completely in love with the tuberose, magnolia, the oud, like so many of them. But I was like ex nihilo crazy over there. So I only purchased, I ended up purchasing one of them, but I really wanted to get a couple more. So, this one is gorgeous, you guys. Anyway, I ordered this from Harrods, and I ordered a discovery kit. So we're going to go through the entire house and then a couple other bottles, you guys. So I'm super excited to have this. I have this fragrance house in my collection. This one is stunning. Between this and Arabesque Merchant of Venice, y'all, you need it, okay? I'm sorry, but you need it, okay? This one is a lifer for me, and literally, I want to put this in a top 10 for life, right along with my ex nihilo Irreverence, okay? This is so good. You guys don't even understand. This is so good. You have some apple in here. You got your honey, tobacco, rum, some cinnamon. What else do you have in here? You have some sesame, cardamom, some rose. Like this fragrance is balanced to perfection. When I say perfection, I mean perfection, and you need to get your nose on it. It's a tobacco, but it's a very fresh, like a silky tobacco, but it's warm, spicy, and you get all of those notes, but they're literally so cohesive, and the blend is so amazing, but you get the juiciness to kind of balance the smokiness out of that apple. And the gorgeous, beautiful rose in here. I love the way that they do rose. I love their tuberose scent. I love their magnolia scent. I do love their saffron, which was a little leathery, but it was beautiful as well. And their oud is amazing, y'all. A very wearable oud. I do think that there's oud in this one as well, but I don't get the oud in this fragrance. I just get the, what is it? Apple blossom, sesame, rose, honey, tobacco, and rum, y'all. Slightly boozy. It's like a rich, you know, just like a really rich, expensive rum. You guys, get your nose on this. I'm going to stop talking about it because it's making my mouth water every time I smell it. But y'all, this is a lifer, and that rose in here is amazing, and the tobacco. Get your nose on this fragrance. Smells like no other that I have in my collection. And initially when Farida sprayed this on, she wore it. She bought it when she was over there, and she wore it a couple times. I was like, you smell so good all day long. I could not help but to keep telling her while we were in London, you smell so good. So I had to snatch it up, and then we tried the entire house. stunning, okay? So anyway, the next one we're going to talk about is Invite Only by the House of Kayali. This is a beautiful honeyed tobacco with a cherry nuance, very spicy. There's a lot of cinnamon in here. I think there's a little, it's slightly animalic or earthy. There's oud in here, patchouli as well. But it's beautiful if you want a hint of cherry with your, maybe like a, let's give you two combinations of fragrances. Just say you mix Tom Ford's Lost Cherry with Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. And that is what I literally get in Invite Only. It's a little spicier. You know, I love it. Get a little bit of rose in there as well. Anyway, Kayali's Invite Only. Get your nose on this. I absolutely love this one. The next one is, of course, no other than, let's talk about another Kayali. No other than Kayali's Tobacco Oudgasm Collection. You all know that if you watch my review, this one was my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and spray this, but it literally gives me honey, tobacco. It's fresh, it's oudy, it is unisex, masculine leaning, but that sweetness in here, y'all, you get that animalic oud. I'm not gonna say it's masculine, it's just an animalic oud, like a Middle Eastern animalic oud, a true oud, you all. It's good, but it's honey, it's incensey, it's warm, it's spicy, it's oudy. But y'all, I love this, and I get that note of honey, that balsamic honey in here. This is absolutely stunning. It smells like the Bouquet that I have, that I burn in the morning. But yeah, smells very, very Middle Eastern exquisite, okay? Yes, I am loving this. A Middle Eastern / Western take on oud, tobacco, and honey, you guys, and incense. It's not like that churchy incense. Y'all, this is so good. If you like tobacco and honey, it is a honey fragrance. So you gotta like honey as well. Get your nose on this one. Yeah, I don't know. This one's a good one, you guys. And that's Kayali's Oudgasm Collection, Tobacco Oud. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is an amazing one as well, you guys. I have some amazing tobacco fragrances. And this is A Night in Marrakesh. Now, A Night in Marrakesh gives you a whole lot, okay? And it's so, it's decadent, it's delicate, it's amazing. A Night in Marrakesh, it's like Middle Eastern too. As soon as I took the cap off, like I smelled it. I didn't even have to put my nose up, but you get that rose, you get that olibanum. It smells like there's a little bit of a caramel vanilla in here. There's some white tobacco in here that makes it super smooth, you guys. If you don't know of A Night in Marrakesh by the House of Memoirs of a Perfume Collector, you really need to get your nose on this fragrance. There's coffee in this fragrance as well, but it's not a heavy coffee. It's just, it probably just gives it a little bit of balance, you know, makes it a little rich. But the warm spiciness of that olibanum. There's also, what else is in here? There's also saffron, rose, honey, white tobacco, olibanum, ginger, Cambodian oud. Y'all, I'm going to give you guys probably my top 5 at the end, okay? But y'all, if this is a tobacco review that you wanted to see or that you were thinking about watching, this is the one, okay? Minus I am missing Guerlain's Tobacco Honey. But y'all already know the backstory if you watch me. I think I'm going to go test it before I buy it. I don't know why it was sent back, but I'm just going to take that as a sign. So I'm going to go into the department store and test it first before I repurchase it, okay? So y'all, maybe it smells like something that I already have and it would have been redundant. God works in mysterious ways, and I'm not questioning it or making the same stupid mistake again, okay? So I'm going to leave Guerlain back in the warehouse where it is, okay? So anyway, A Night in Marrakesh is gorgeous. Stunning. Get your nose on this fragrance. But that saffron, olibanum, you know, that honey, that rose. Like I said, it's not a, I really don't get the oud in that fragrance, you know, but it's beautiful. I love it. The next one we're going to talk about, we won't talk about very long, Side Effect. It's vanilla, it's spices, it's rum, it's boozy, it's tobacco, it's creamy, definitely unisex. I use this a lot in the fall, winter for layering some of my lighter, airy vanillas, but I love Side Effect. Will always have this in my collection. You can find these fragrances, you guys, for a pretty decent price, under like $180, $170 over on Fragrance Buy. I need to be like a spokesperson for Fragrance Buy, because they need to be paying me or giving me a discount code, because yeah, literally I find everything on Fragrance Buy, and if you put your name on it, they'll give you an expected date. So just be looking at your email, you guys. Anyway, Side Effect by the House of Vinicio. Absolutely love boozy, vanillic, smoky, creamy tobacco. Get your nose on this one. The next one we're going to talk about is no stranger to YouTube, okay, and the fragrance community. And this is by the House of Argos, and this is Triumph of BACCUS. This one to me is definitely unisex, amazing performance. It's more of a peachy apple tobacco saffron scent. Absolutely love it. You can't go wrong with this fragrance. You could probably make this a signature scent if you wanted to. It's just that fresh, light and airy, but carries depth throughout 365 days a year, you guys. You can wear this winter, spring, summer, fall. Just spray a little heavier in the wintertime. If it's snowing outside, you're still going to get an amazing nuance and performance. That fruity, airy, fresh tobacco with a little bit of that saffron is absolutely stunning. Get your nose on this. Triumph of BACCUS, not to mention the stunning bottles. Y'all, I literally love this fragrance house because of their bottles. Yeah, they're just absolutely gorgeous, unique, with so much history behind the fragrance house, and I love it, you guys. Get your nose on it. The next one we're going to talk about is by the House of Ombre, and I had this on my October fragrance tray. I only wore it once, and I expected to wear it a little more, but I was working a lot, so I cannot wear this fragrance to work. It has to be worn on a day off. So this fragrance does have, it's feminine, okay? It's more of a tuberose, tobacco, petite grain type scent. It is tobacco with a little greenness, a little powderiness. You know, I think there's heliotrope in here as well. But you got like a earthy, powdery tuberose with a little bit of tobacco, which makes it smoky. There's orange blossom in here that sweetens it up and makes it a little more vanillic, y'all. This is a unique fragrance, not a safe line buy. I love it, but this is like, if you like fragrances like Angelique Noir, then I think you would love this because it gives it that petite grain, almost reminds me of that Angelica in Angelique Noir by the House of Guerlain, that greenness, but this has orange blossom, also the tuberose in there, and tobacco. It is absolutely gorgeous. Natural, they all natural inside and outside. Get your nose on this fragrance, and this is Tuble Parisienne by the House of Ombre. The next one is a dupe. I actually have a 10 ml of Tobacco Vanille, and I did not buy the big bottle because I didn't think that I needed it, and I haven't even used my 10 ml of Tobacco Vanille. But I also have Tobacco Touch, which is a dupe of Tobacco Vanille, and this is by Alhambra. And I think they were planning on taking these off the market, but you could still find them. I think I saw this one on Fragrance Buy, so snatch it if you can. And I also have another amazing Tobacco Vanille dupe, but to me, I love this because it's giving a lot more. And this is Alharmain Amber Oud Tobacco Edition. You all look at the dent in that fragrance. I did wear this multiple times. All three are literally giving the same. Tobacco, spices, dried fruits. It's rich. But when I tell you spices. But which one is more spicier? Tobacco Touch is the spiciest, the most dried fruit, decadentest of them all, you guys. So if you like spices, or if you like Tobacco Vanille with a little more spices, then try Tobacco Touch. But Tobacco Touch is spicy, and it's giving dried fruits for days, you guys, on top of a beautiful vanilla. But if you want to get more of that, more of an airy take, but still get that Tobacco Vanille nuance, so you might want to try Alharmain Amber Oud Tobacco Edition, or you can just get Tobacco Vanille and spend all your coins, okay? Either way, but I would literally, this one is a good deal. It was $25, okay? And it literally gives you a heavier tobacco vanille. And this is nuclear, you guys. So you only need like 2 or 3 sprays. Nuclear. This is really good performance as well, but which one would I get out of all of them? This one's about $50, I think $40, $50. This one's like $20, $25. I would still go with this one, but I do like the fact that I have this one. I mean, if you're on a budget, go with this one, you guys. Get your nose on these fragrances. But they are both amazing deals. Both smell like tobacco vanille, like 90%, maybe a little less spices, or maybe a little more airier, okay? The next one we're going to talk about is Theodore Scalatini's. This is Tobacco Maniac. So in Tobacco Maniac, you have your honey and tobacco again, of course. This one to me is more of a smokier, more of a earthier from the patchouli, slightly balmier tobacco fragrance. Yeah, this one's more balmy. This one gives you more of that creamy patchouli with that honey and tobacco. This one smells very masculine leaning, you guys. Unisex, like leaning towards the masculine edge. But I love it because of that tobacco and that honey. It's not a super like in your face honey fragrance. You get more of a tobacco slash earthier patchouli with a little bit of honey, vanilla, but beautiful fragrance. This comes from the, this is the Extrait des Parfums of his line, but Tobacco Maniac, get your nose on this. I mean, it's a good deal regardless, even if you don't want to purchase tobacco vanille, but if you like a patchouli tobacco balmy scent, then try Tobacco Maniac. Tobacco vanilla is like stuck in my head. Another one by the House of Xerjoff is Tobac. You guys, we're almost done, okay? By Xerjoff, this is Tobac. Now, this is probably marketed to men, but to me, this is more of a unisex, feminine leaning tobacco because it has like a sweet vanillic tobacco. It's not spicy at all. There's a ton of notes in here, but to me, this fragrance is very linear. It almost gives me a light, airy vanilla tobacco with iris or something. I'm getting, maybe there's heliotrope, an overdose of like ambroxan and heliotrope in here. But I'm getting heliotrope, airiness, slightly powderiness, almost like a powdered sugar vanilla tobacco. Yeah. But this is beautiful, but this is sweet. And to me, like I said, Tobac, do not be scared of the name. To me, this is a tobacco fragrance that is definitely feminine leaning. Get your nose on this fragrance. I love this. If I ran out of Tobac, I would repurchase this because I do like this so much. And yes, the dent is me, okay? That's all me, you guys. Last but not least was the king of tobacco fragrances. But then we got all of these right here. So this is Parfums de Marly and this is Herod, you guys. You guys know that Herod gives you, I think there's a lot of ambroxan, isoe super in here. You know, it is beautiful, but you get that tobacco, you get that, a little bit of that, you know, that cherry nuance. You get vanilla or fruity nuance. Yeah, you get that like freshness, the airiness of the tobacco, plus the vanilla. I love this fragrance, you know. I remember wearing this fragrance, spraying this fragrance on at Nordstrom's when it initially came out. And I was like, Herod, not initially came out, I think like 5 years ago. I sprayed this on at Nordstrom's and I was like, oh, this is heavy. And then as I wore it, I kept smelling my wrist and I was like, this smells good. Was this the masculine fragrance that I sprayed on? Yes, it was. So I knew that I had to get a bottle of it. So anyway, a beautiful, airy, fresh tobacco with a little bit of that isoe super cherry nuance, vanilla nuance, and warm spicy, you know, warm spicy tobacco, you guys. Really a little earthy in the opening, you guys. But anyway, to me, it is masculine leaning, of course, in the opening, but this dries down to a beautiful, lightly airy tobacco vanilla scent with a little freshness. get your nose on this Parfums de Marley Herod. I think that is it, you guys. I hope that is all. Go on to the world, spread amazing, see how you do good, be good, all of that. And let me know what your favorite tobacco fragrance is down in the comments. I did smell Tobacco Lore by, and I wanted to purchase it, but it wasn't giving me much. I did like Tobacco Lore from Dior, but I didn't love it because I was looking for a little bit more richness in that fragrance. It is beautiful though. If I find it at a good deal or a smaller bottle, actually, no, I'm going to get that Guerlain Tobacco Honey, but I want to smell it first, you guys. Anyway, love you all. Bye-bye.